Most of us, I'm going to include myself for this week, have salt addictions.
Proper ice cream this morning.
I wanted to talk today about why we think we're eating low sodium when we're actually not. Packaging and food labels has a huge influence on what we buy. Things like refried beans, salsas, sauces, anything like that, even soy sauce, they can label as low sodium. One thing that I always say, and something that I'm definitely going to talk about in the mini-series coming up titled How to Read a Food Label, is that the front is just there to fool you. The front is just advertising. They can say pretty much anything that they want in regards to what is in the product. So they can say reduced sodium, 27% less sodium, a low sodium sauce, no salt, all these different kinds of things, and it really comes down to you doing your own work and actually reading the label, actually figuring out how much salt is in there. Most people believe that they're eating low sodium when they're not. Something as simple as a can of beans or chickpeas, those things have sodium. Those things are actually usually very high in sodium. You have to read the labels. You have to take your time and figure out, actually sit and figure out how much sodium you're taking in. Our recommendation is don't get over 1,000 milligrams a day. Simply by eating fresh fruits and vegetables, you're going to meet the requirement for your body for sodium. So don't worry about getting more sodium. You should be worrying about getting less sodium. I'm not saying that you have to cut it completely. I'm not saying that at all. I don't know that that's always practical for people, but it is something that will affect you. And most people are getting way over what even the RDA is, and they have no idea because they are buying low sodium this, low sodium that, 35% reduced sodium, whatever it is. So if you guys haven't seen it, please check out day 11 where I talk about how to actually calculate sodium levels in things like sauces, beans, anything like that. And if you are trying to reduce your sodium level, be smart about the things that you buy. Do look and compare this can of beans to this can of beans. Compare this sauce to this sauce. Compare brands. Compare everything that you possibly can and see what has the lowest sodium. And then do your best to reduce the sodium from that. For example, with beans or chickpeas that come in a can. What you can do is you can put them in a strainer and rinse it out. Take a lot of water, rinse the beans around, and try and get some of the sodium off. It's not going to get it all off, obviously, because a lot of it will have soaked in, but it's better than just putting the can in like how it is. I had a few people who were asking this question, so I wanted to answer it today, and that is, what is my height? My natural starting weight for the beginning of this experiment was 108.2 or 0.4, I believe. And my natural weight usually falls between 105 and 110, somewhere in there. I usually don't go much on either side of that. And my height, I am 5'4". Today I'm feeling much better. My skin feels better. I feel less dry. My tongue and my mouth feel less dry as well. The circles under my eyes are starting to go away. They're still there. You can see them. They're still there, but they're definitely going down. The tops of my eyelids have also stopped being so poofy, which is great. And overall, I'm feeling a lot better. I still feel in the mornings not so great. I woke up this morning, I was still having a feeling of just being nauseous and not feeling right, like something's out of balance. So if you are following along, if you are trying to cut down on your sodium this week, 3 of the things that I would like you guys to aim for. Make sure you are getting enough calories. If you are hungry, this is not going to work because you're going to start craving salty foods. Most of us, I'm going to include myself for this week, have salt addictions. And that's something that if you have a salt addiction, and you might not even know you have a salt addiction, but if you have it, to curb that addiction, to try and get over it, you need to be carbed up. If you're not getting enough calories in, your body is going to be wanting fuel, wanting nutrients, and it's going to tell you to go after calorically dense foods. I talked about this in a previous video. So that's number 1, carb up. Something I want to throw in there is that I always say fruit is best, but being carved up is better. So if you can't get fresh, ripe, available, cheap fruit, don't worry about it. Go for something high carb, low fat, vegan, cooked with low sodium. Next one is going to be to hydrate yourself. Make sure you're getting in at least 2.5 liters of water a day. The idea is that you want to be peeing clear by the end of the day. This usually requires you to drink about 2.5 liters of water, sometimes 3, maybe more if you're in a hot climate or you're exercising a lot. Usually you're going to pee between 8 to 12 times in a day. So that's something that's super important. We want to flush the salt out, we want to keep our bodies hydrated, and make sure everything is running smoothly. Third thing is exercise. If you're trying to get the salt out of your body, the easiest way to do that, pump your lymphatic system. Get your heart racing, get sweating, and sweat all that crap out. Get rid of all the salt, get rid of all the toxins that are in your body. So those are the 3 things that I'm going to recommend if you guys want to start curbing your salt addiction, to try and get the salt out of your body. Number 1, carb up. Number 2, hydrate. And number 3, exercise. A 4th and kind of bonus one is to make sure you're getting enough sleep. If you're running on low sleep, your body's not going to work well. So this makes a lot of sense as to why the food industry uses a ton of salt.
Carb up and spread the fruit.